The United States Congress is once again approaching a critical moment in its budget process. At the center of the current standoff is House Speaker Mike Johnson, who has received a direct warning from Democratic leadership: do not assume Democratic votes to prevent a government shutdown under the current negotiating strategy. The warning reflects deeper structural tensions inside Congress and highlights how domestic political disputes in Washington increasingly carry consequences beyond U.S. borders. Budget uncertainty, even when short-lived, affects markets, international partners, and perceptions of American institutional stability. At issue is the federal budget and the conditions under which government funding will continue. With existing funding measures nearing expiration, lawmakers must agree either on a comprehensive budget deal or on a temporary extension to keep federal agencies operating. Democratic leaders have made clear that their cooperation cannot be taken for granted. Their position is rooted in concerns over funding priorities, particularly related to immigration enforcement and the Department of Homeland Security. Republicans, under pressure from their conservative wing, have pushed for stricter conditions and limits tied to border policy. Democrats argue that these demands risk destabilizing the budget process and politicizing essential government functions. Speaker Mike Johnson, relatively new to his role, faces a complex balancing act. Internally, he must manage divisions within the Republican caucus, where a narrow majority leaves little room for defections. Externally, he must decide whether to seek bipartisan compromise or pursue a party-line strategy that risks legislative paralysis. The Democratic warning signals that previous informal assumptions no longer apply. In earlier budget negotiations, bipartisan cooperation often emerged at the final stage to avert shutdowns. This time, Democrats are emphasizing that such outcomes are not automatic and that concessions will be required. Government shutdowns are not unprecedented in the United States, but their cumulative impact has grown more significant. Past shutdowns have disrupted federal services, delayed salaries for government workers, and created uncertainty in financial markets. Internationally, they have raised questions about the reliability of U.S. governance at moments when global economic coordination is critical. From a geopolitical perspective, internal budget conflicts weaken Washington's ability to project consistency. Allies monitoring U.S. fiscal stability see shutdown threats as indicators of political fragmentation. For strategic partners, particularly in Europe and Asia, budget uncertainty can complicate defense planning, aid commitments, and long-term cooperation. Financial markets tend to react cautiously to prolonged budget standoffs. While short shutdowns are often absorbed with limited disruption, repeated crises contribute to volatility and erode confidence in fiscal policymaking. Rating agencies and institutional investors closely track these developments as signals of political risk. Technology and federal innovation programs are also affected. Funding delays can slow research initiatives, infrastructure modernization, and cybersecurity efforts. In an era of global technological competition, even temporary interruptions carry long-term costs. The current dispute also reflects a broader shift in U.S. politics. The House of Representatives has become more polarized, with procedural tools increasingly used as leverage rather than mechanisms for governance. Budget negotiations, once largely technical, are now central battlegrounds for ideological conflict. Looking ahead, several scenarios remain possible. Congress could reach a short-term funding agreement, postponing deeper disputes. A broader bipartisan deal could stabilize funding through the fiscal year, though this would require compromises on both sides. Alternatively, negotiations could fail, triggering a partial government shutdown with immediate and visible consequences. For Speaker Mike Johnson, the situation represents an early test of leadership. His decisions will shape not only the immediate budget outcome, but also his credibility as a negotiator capable of managing a divided chamber. For Democrats, the warning underscores a strategic recalibration. By signaling limits to cooperation, they aim to influence negotiations earlier rather than intervening at the last moment. Ultimately, the budget standoff is not just a domestic political story. It is a reminder that internal governance challenges in the United States resonate globally. As Washington navigates this period of uncertainty, the outcome will be closely watched far beyond Capitol Hill.